want to share a story with you guys coming out of my local area involving a man and a woman out there stealing catalytic converters, most certainly to support some sort of a drug habit. I don't know that necessarily to be the absolute truth. Maybe there's a perfectly good ulterior explanation as to why these folks were out there with a sawzall in the middle of the night cutting off car parts. But before I go any further, I do want to mention this. I'm not sharing this story in an effort to make fun of these people or to have a whole bunch of laughs and jokes about this. I'm sharing this because I truly feel this run-of-the-mill type of story really poses some pretty interesting dynamics. And it's my hope to dive deep into those with you and that you guys also find some interest in this. And also, before I go any further, I want to pose this theory. Isn't it crazy to think when you hear of somebody out there stealing catalytic converters, there's no other plausible explanation as to why they were doing that than to provide for some sort of a drug habit, right? Unless, that's just your hustle. You're out there getting money in the streets and that's what you do. You don't get high. But there's good money in catalytic converters, I've heard. I've also heard a part of that reason is because they have platinum inside of them. I don't know any of this to be the truth, just what I've heard. But it is a pretty interesting thing to think about, right? Like if I told you that I got locked up for selling catalytic converters, you would probably assume automatically that guy was out there getting high. I know I would. The reason I find more interest in this story is because, well, one, at least once a week I find myself looking at mugshots, seeing who's gotten locked up, what did they get locked up for, and before even running across the story involving this man and this woman right here, I would see their mugshot. I would also see their charges as well. And the man's charges were intentional damage, destroy any property or monument, petty larceny, $200 not from a person, first offense, attempted vandalism of a vehicle, aircraft, or boat. Crazy enough, the woman was charged with a lot more. Intentional damage, destroy any property or monument, petty larceny, first offense, attempted vandalism of a boat, vehicle, or aircraft, scheduled 1-2 sale for profit, scheduled 1 or 2 possession, schedule 4 possession. After reading the story, it would kind of paint a picture. These folks were out there stealing catalytic converters. Somebody heard a saw going. They called the police. They saw the vehicle that was in question. I guess maybe seen leaving the apartment complex where they were doing this at. They pulled over the vehicle. It was a truck. Before the police could even get up to the cab of the truck, in the bed of the truck, they saw 2 catbacks sitting there. And it seems like when they pulled them over and searched these folks, they found the drugs, I guess either on the woman or maybe she was just taking the charge. And they both ended up with the theft charges of the catalytic converters. So that's basically this story in a nutshell, but that's not why I really want to share this story with you. And the main reason is, I guess maybe it's based on a saying, like what happens in the dark usually comes to light, something along those lines. Well, I saw the mugshots first, then I ran across the story, which got me, I guess, more engaged. So I would look this man up, Barron Estes, I think is how you say his last name, on Facebook. And I was intrigued to find that this man appears, at least from his post, to be some sort of a mechanic or a mechanical person and also a scrap metal guy. He goes out there and gets quite a bit of scrap metal, so catalytic converters probably are right in his wheelhouse. He already knows there's good money in those and probably already knows where to take those. But forget the fact that this man is a scrap metal collector. As I was looking through his Facebook, I would see that this guy served something like close to 8 years. I don't know what that was for. I think it was for a theft charge as well. And it seems his posts date back to May of 2020. And that's really when his Facebook was most active, was during 2020. That was around 2 years ago at this point. And even back then, he had posts on Facebook defending his name. I guess because it seems from the post that he was making that he was being accused, seemingly after prison, of still being out there stealing shit. Probably catalytic converters. I want to share a post with you. This post is from May the 2nd, 2022. I consider doing this for like spoken word, reading people's Facebook posts. They are quite interesting sometimes, especially posts like this. So the make-believe story this week is I have a prostitution ring. a ring of prostitution. I added that last part. OMG, where does this stuff come from? I'm thrilled. I'm on so many people's minds. Oh yeah, I run the girls around in the Corvette I stole. Ha ha, laughing my ass off. I love the gossip, the so untrue, made up bullshit. Could y'all please tell a little truth? My vet is not stolen. Title in hand with the bill of sale. By the way, isn't she smoking hot? He would post a picture of this Corvette in his garage and also possibly his girlfriend at the time. Also, one last thing for all you self-conscious motherfuckers. Call me. I'll hook you up. I don't know what that's in relation to. Whether that's in relation to maybe you need a mechanic, maybe you need drugs, maybe you need a date. I really don't know what he's talking about right there, so I'm not even going to try to assume. Also, one last thing for all you self-conscious MFers. Call me, I'll hook you up. Maybe he's talking about beating him up. Last thing before I start this gorgeous day. Good for him, being optimistic. I don't steal catalytic converters. Mind you, this post is from May the 2nd, 2020. I told you, this is kind of interesting considering dude just got caught red-handed, 2 catbacks in the bed of his truck. I would just take the whole vehicle. And for the ones that are, keep my name out your mouth. When your dumbasses get caught impending my way, when your dumbasses get caught impending my way, I don't know what that means. Because y'all jealous or self-conscious with yourself in life. If anybody feels some type of way, you can call me. He lists his phone number or stop and see me. If need directions, call me. Ooh, boy, dude, we're looking for them problems back then. I find it super interesting that there's multiple posts on this guy's Facebook defending himself in relation to being accused of stealing catalytic converters. I run across the mugshots first, then the story, with a headline that reads, 2 people arrested in Virginia Beach for allegedly stealing catalytic converters. There ain't no alleged about it. They caught him with these joints in the bed of the truck. They got an eyewitness that said they got the saw going in the middle of the night at a luxury apartment complex at the ocean front. These folks were brazen. The eyewitness told officers about a truck that might have been driven by the people with the saw. Investigators later found it driving down the road. The spokesperson said there were 2 catalytic converters in plain view in the bed of the truck. You go back to this man's Facebook page and he's sitting there, sitting there definitely trying to defend himself against these allegations. He served something like almost 8 years in prison. I saw, actually, scratch that. He was arrested in 2018 for the same charge. Value $200 or more, destroy maliciously or with intent to defraud. Sounds like stealing catalytic converters right there. Don't know how much time he did for that. He says almost 8 years. It's like asking a chick back in the day, how many guys have you been with? 2 times that by 40, you got something in the wheelhouse. No disrespect. It's just an old wives' tale, so to speak, from back in the day. Hey, I don't steal catalytic converters. Well, you gotta steal in charge. Sure sounds like it. Again, I share this story because it's really synonymous with things that happen in the dark are gonna come to light. When you out there doing wrong and you're getting high, which is why you're doing wrong, or vice versa, you're doing wrong so that you can get high. Man, that shit's gonna come to light. I wanted to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, right? You know what? Maybe everybody's got this guy figured out all wrong. But I see this other thing, this other post from May the 4th, 2020. From what it seems like, I don't know, maybe the middle of the night. It's definitely dark outside in a garage. Basically just panning around this man's garage, showcasing the many tools that he has. He's got a whole lot of tools. Some chick just rummaging around on maybe a desk. There's that Corvette. There's a motorcycle. There's a dog. If you can see the dog, it's almost like a Where's Waldo. There's a lot of clutter and junk in here. And then there's this chick right here holding up these keys. Yeah. I think that this video just screams methamphetamine. Moving on. Just a sad situation. I hope that these folks are able to get their shit together, move on, and live successful lives after getting out of prison. for these charges right here, which they're probably going to prison for. One thing before I move on that I want to share, maybe there's going to be a little shit that they're going to have to deal with along the way. I look at some other posts on this guy's Facebook page. People got his mugshot and this story plastered all over it. Somebody says that's messed up. Yeah, that was from 5 days ago. That's pretty sad. And somebody else would say, I hope you and your bitch understand the beatings you have coming. Go out there and steal people's shit if you want to. Maybe this person is somebody who's riding around with their car sounding like a John Deere tractor right now. I'd be mad too. Like I said, I wanted to give this situation the benefit of the doubt. Hey, maybe it's not drugs. I go look through this guy's Facebook friends list and I run across some people that I know. And some people that I know who are actively involved in addiction. And, you know, that's just a sad situation. I share that story to share one more with you. And I want to do so kind of quickly. I don't want to make this long. But there was somebody that was on this guy's Facebook friends list that I knew. This guy right here. Now, if you guys don't remember who this guy is, maybe he looks vaguely familiar to you. There's only this one picture. Ironically, it's from 2020 as well. April the 12th, 2020. You know, you can tell a lot about a person by how active they are on social media. If maybe at one point they were active and now they're no longer active. If they were really active and now they're no longer active. It means a couple of things. Maybe they can't stand Facebook anymore, which is a pretty understandable thing, or maybe something else. Maybe they got locked up, God forbid, even worse. Maybe they passed away. Maybe they're knee deep in addiction. In the past, I've been able to gauge certain situations from that. But I share this guy's picture with you for a story that involves me, myself, and a stupid thing that I did trying to be a nice guy, and something that I never shared with you guys. And I wanted to. I wanted to put this guy on full blast. I really, truly did. But at the end of the day, it's really my fault. So if I'm going to put anybody on blast, I put myself there first. It was a couple of years ago when this took place. Hell, it was probably 2020. But back during that time, and I think before then, maybe it was like late 2019, 2020, somewhere around there, I had this wild idea to do the mopeds, if you guys will remember that. Let's rent to own mopeds. I had 5 of them. Out of 5 of them, like 3 of them got totaled, and yeah, all bad stories in relation to those. I did a video recently about those mopeds. There was only one moped that was successfully paid off. And ironically, it was a case that I thought was going to be one of the worst. In fact, after we started this rent-to-own agreement with this individual who was brought to me by, well, somebody who was a part of After Prison Show back during that time as well, I remember leaving from there after dropping off this $1,000+ moped like, damn, I'm never going to see that moped again, and this was probably a horrendous idea. Ironically enough, it wouldn't be. After getting like 1 or 2 payments, this guy painted my moped, my pretty brand new orange moped, matte black, ruined it right there, made it look like it was stolen, which it absolutely was not. But ironically, this guy would end up fulfilling the rent-to-own agreement. The only successful person to do so. And I was so happy. Also surprised. Also a tad bit embarrassed with myself that I didn't give this guy more of a benefit of the doubt. And I was happy that he did, even though I knew this dude was dealing with a major addiction problem. I mean, it was plastered all over his demeanor, and that's just what it was. There was nothing else you could say about it. And he successfully paid off that moped. From there, fast forward a couple of months, hell, I can't remember how long it was. It wasn't too long after the fulfillment of that moped rent-to-own arrangement that this guy would reach out to me and ask me for a loan. And I went against my absolute better judgment and gave this guy this loan. Now, this guy wanted a $1,000 loan like I was Title Max or some shit. And there were a lot of red flags that I should have taken heed to. The first being, this guy had lost his good paying job, like $30 an hour in the shipyard. Lost that job, but he was about to get a new job. He was also living in a hotel at this point. He'd left the safety and stability of a good environment to go live in a hotel with his girlfriend, who had just come home from jail, who herself was struggling with a mean old methamphetamine addiction. The purpose of this loan, it was almost like, and I hate to say this, it was almost like Meth Tank, sort of like Shark Tank. Tell me your wildest ambition and dreams and what that meth rock's got you thinking about. So all these red flags, right? But this guy hits me up and he's like, hey man, I need a loan. I just need a little bit to help me get by. I'm in between jobs right now, but I'm getting ready to start this new job. I need $1,000. My girlfriend just came home. We're trying to get on her feet, this and that. I did not want to do this. This guy hounded me, basically just annoyed the shit out of me until I agreed to do it. I didn't feel comfortable giving this guy just a straight $1,000 that I was tacking on. Like, I don't even remember what the interest on that was going to be. $1,000, I think I wanted $1,500 back, or maybe $1,250. I think it was probably $1,250. Now, collateral, if this guy chose to default on this loan, was that moped that he basically hung over my head with every phone call. But look, Joe, you know, I paid off that moped. You didn't think I was going to do it, but I did it. I said, yes, you did do that. That was the collateral. You're going to pay me back bi-weekly or however we agreed to this. We had a contract and everything. And the collateral was, if you default on this, I'm snatching that moped back. I go over and give him the first installment, $500. He's at this hotel right across the street from probation, ironically enough. And in there with his girlfriend will not even come out of the bathroom, I'm guessing because she's so blasted. And he can't even sit still. He is all over the place. I give him that first $500 and I said, what the fuck am I doing? What am I basically, I know what I'm doing. I am contributing to this addiction. Trying to be this good guy. This is in no way to blast this dude. This is all on me. I gave him the first installment. I knew this was a bad idea. We signed the agreements. You know, hey, you'd do anything for $500 at that point, right? And then a week later, I gave him the second installment of the $500. And the second time I seen him, he was way, way worse than the first time. But I mean, functioning, you know? I mean, some people, they can just function. They can function, whatever. The girlfriend, again, would not come out of the bath. Just a really wild-ass situation all this turned out to be. So in the end, what happened with this was, before I could ever go repo the moped, because I never saw not one penny back in return from this stupid endeavor. If I thought the mopeds were a bad idea, loaning drug addicts micro loans was even worse. Yeah, so before I could even go try to repo the moped, you know, I had heard through the grapevine that got sold for crack or meth, and that was gone. And then he got locked up, and still have yet to see any of my money. I don't even know if he's locked up again. I know he got locked up, came home, and I don't know if he's out. I don't know if he's locked up again, but never even made an effort to reach out to me and say, hey, Joe, you know, thank you for what you did. And also, fuck you, I'm not paying you, but stupid thing that I did right there. So getting back to this Barron, Estes, and this woman named Jessica, who both just got caught cutting off these catalytic converters. If I had any, like, if there was anything that was going to make me be like, well, you know, maybe there is a plausible explanation for this, it went out the window when I seen the friends list. That whole birds of a feather flocks together type of thing. Yeah. Look, that's all I got on this. Kind of two different stories, but wanted to try to circle the wagons and pull them both in together. I hope that this was a video that you guys enjoyed, some stories you found some interest in. You guys let me know what you think. Should stealing catalytic converters carry more of a hefty penalty? Why is that so popular? Why that? Something where you got to crawl under a car with a sawzall, make all this noise, risk getting killed. There was a story that I covered last year where a guy got killed doing this. Isn't there anything easier? Let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you think. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted and make the most of every day. Peace!